Okay, to the faithful listeners that also come on Wednesday, we'll have to give them something special. Reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 2, Chapter 2, Text 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I know this is not the best background, but let's see. Gopa-kumāra uvāca, māthurottama viśrāntau, snātvā vṛndāvanaṁ gataḥ, atra govardhanādau yathā-kāmaṁ paribhraman. Śrī Gopa-kumāra said, O best of the Mathurā Brahmins, after bathing at Viśrānti-ghāṭa I came to Vṛndāvana. Here I wandered freely in such places as Govardhana. Purport: this second chapter describes the glories of Swargaloka and other higher planets in the universe. It compares inward meditation on the Supreme Lord with external vision of Him and devotional service with liberation. Viśrānti-ghāṭa is the principal holy site in Mathurā city. Pilgrims usually begin their visits to Mathurā with a bath at Viśrānti-ghāṭa. Anyway, next time I'll set it up differently, so you'll just have to tolerate here. But this is where my seat is. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Śrī Gurave Namaha. Śrī Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Greetings from the Super Soul Farm. I'm looking forward to the retreat, but even people already started to come. A few people were invited earlier, had some relationship with Raghunath that are coming. And I'm looking forward to the retreat. A short retreat from Friday late afternoon to after breakfast on Sunday, just to develop many reasons, but one is just to keep on developing community, which is an essential principle of Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness means to let go of the false ego, which situates you in the center. And it's a place where you're not sensitive to the sentiments of love, which are the principles of bhakti. So our whole struggle is actually to get out of the center. And the world just moves us to the center, even to protect ourselves. So it's hard to do everything in a mood of pure service. But one thing that community does, it lets us it gives us an ability to relax the false ego, which covers the energy of God from touching our soul. And that's basically a simple objective for this retreat. There are other types of retreat that are more intensive, but if you saw, we have a full schedule. And also in our Metro Mantra Sanga, the purpose is to provide seva, for people, and community. Community allows you to at least get a taste of transcending the limited concept of I, where you can put the interest of a community above your own. And it's basically the purpose of all social interactions. Marriage, you have to think of others before yourself is such an important principle in Krishna consciousness. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, and quite a few people coming, even from other places. Yavat Sundari, she's a faithful listener. She'll be pleased that her daughter and her daughter's fiancé are going to make the trip. What a treat for someone who's grown up in Iran to be with her Guru Maharaj in Super Soul Retreat Center and God Brothers and God Sisters. And so I'm looking forward to it. And of course, Śrī Rupa is just an amazing organizer. Cool and just the facts. Gets the job done. And soon, I'll announce this on Sunday too, I'm putting out my Puri Vṛndāvana Govardhana retreat, which I have a really good sense about this year, as I do every year, but it works out. So let's get to this verse. We've been to the second chapter, and we ended the first chapter with Gopa-kumāra abdicating the throne. Somehow he wound up, if you've been following us, as the king. Such a simple, soft-hearted guy, but he actually did a good job. He organized festivals, etc. But again, the concentration on being the center was so antithetical to his simple cowherd boy Bob. It was so antithetical that he was finding a great conflict in it. And even when he abdicated the throne, because he was previously the king, people would show him respect. So you can see he was quite pure. You can see how insidious that false ego is, putting us in the center, never wanting to admit we're wrong, becoming envious of others, wanting to be recognized, puja, worship, pratishta, distinction. We saw in the Gundicha Marjana Leela, when Lord Chaitanya was preparing the Gadicha at Vṛndāvana for the Lord, it was also real, but it also represented, there's something with, I remember when I first came to the temple, in Brooklyn. I wasn't yet joined. I just was visiting. It was so exciting. And I was, cleaning the temple, and that time Hari K, she had joined, but I knew him before Krishna consciousness. He said, Prabhupada said, cleaning the temple is like cleaning your heart. There's such a relationship between the external and the internal in Krishna consciousness. We move our body where we want our consciousness to be. Yeah. So, so the Gundicha thing is preparing the heart for Krishna, and they were cleaning out all the dust, and even when they cleaned out the dust, they were pushing the dust further and further away because it could always blow back in the temple. And it's the same thing with all the anarthas and things that we kind of getting rid of. They're kind of lurking there to come in, and all that water just splashing the tops of the temple, and just cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And some of the dust was that puja and pratishta that devotees want to avoid, and it can be very dangerous. We saw that with, after Prabhupada left, there were 11 people taking up the mantle of Guru, and the only example they had to follow was of Prabhupada, who is the acharya, the material and spiritual head of everything. And they couldn't handle it. Most of them, some did, but they couldn't handle it. They couldn't, in horrible ways. So many of them left. Sincere devotees. They were sincere. They pushed on the movement. But after 7 or 8 years of devotee, they were like 28 years old. Maybe someone was 35. And all of a sudden they had all this big position. So the devotee is wary of that. He's definitely wary of that. Anyway, Gopa-kumāra, he really didn't want that. And then he had this kind of, I made some notes about this. Because he has this kind of dilemma. It's like having two lovers, and you're attached to both, and you can be absorbed in one, then feel separation from the other, and then go to the other and feel separation from one. So his swabhavika bhakti, his internal nature, he was a Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, but he lacked some bandhagyan, he lacked education. And there's not scholarship, but without foundational understanding and the faith in that understanding, it's hard to remain fixed in Krishna consciousness, because doubts come, and faith in the objective weakens. So he kind of kept on having this, and he had this mantra, and it was a Gopal mantra. It was, I was studying with Dhanurdhara Swami. We're doing that every day. It's like really, we're going deep, and it's really wonderful. And he really knows Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, and he was discussing something that'll come out later, where Gopa-kumāra's in Vaikuntha and he calls Narayan Gopal, because that's his mantra, and he's seeing the similarity, although not the full manifestation of it. And everybody looked at him. What are you doing? Because Gopal means one who protects the cows. And the king, I would say it's like something like if they called Trump or Putin, here comes the janitor, here comes the janitor. Gopal is not in the literal sense. It just represents one who protects the cows. Of course, it's higher than a janitor, but it's not the king. So he keeps on becoming kind of absorbed. When he sees Jagannath, it is Krishna. It's not fully manifest to him, but he still has this sense of the place, and he becomes hankering for that place. And then he becomes in terrible anxiety because he wants that place, and the place is more than the place, because the place is directly connected with the mood of God and the devotees in that place. We can't talk about when talking about God, because God is beyond time and space. But we have to use those words as our frame of reference. When God wants to enjoy intimate love and reveal his personality fully, simultaneously the environment to do so is manifest, and that is Vṛndāvana. That is Vṛndāvana. So he doesn't have this he's simple, he's actually ignorant, he doesn't know anything. Wherever he goes, he doesn't really, he's never been educated. So he went to the so he kept on, he was on the mental plane about it, and then he's like in terrible anxiety, this spiritual hankering that is unfulfilled, this mood of separation. Also, I was studying with Dhanurdhara Swami. I love it. You realize something new, and there was a comparison between the queens of Dwarka and the gopis, where the gopis were always I mentioned this last because they were always in separation, because they didn't have Krishna legally. And that intensified their love. Anyway, somehow Gopa-kumāra, he has this anxiety, and then he focuses on the deity who he understands as God, and he's starting to feel that energy between him and God, but somehow or other, it's not his full manifestation, his full sense, his full love. And he can never be satiated just in that position. So some people from Mathurā come, and then he really begins to hanker for Mathurā. And then Jagannath, who's paradukha-dukhi, he suffers for others, he suffers for his devotee. He said, don't get mental. That's okay. I also live in Mathurā. That's where the cows and the birds, and I roam freely. I'm non-different. I'm also there. So you should go there. So he wanders off, and he wanders freely in so many places. Shama Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhana. Shama Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhana. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya, Jaya Mahavan. So he's there, in that wonderful place. And he's wandering there. Bibamscha gaurasam purva bandavaistar alakshita bhajan swajapyam anayam dinani katichit sukham. Unnoticed by my former friends in their company, I drank the nectar from the cows and happily passed a number of days worshiping my mantra. The mantra is powerful, but to progress in Krishna consciousness, you have to be without doubts. And therefore, they have to be cleared. And you have to have transcendental knowledge. And somehow or other, he had left and now he came back. He was no longer dressed as a cowherd boy. And therefore, he wasn't getting that association. But it's interesting here. Let's see what it says. Go rasam biban Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. We drink the Bhagavatam. So you hear the same word. Biban. Go rasam. The nectar from the cows. So I guess he was getting the milk from the cows. Ata sandarshanot kanta jagat ishyasya sajani yayedam shunyavad viksha purushottam amasmaram. But then a hankering to see the Lord of the universe arose in me that made this land of Mathurā seem vacant. I remembered Purushottama Kshetra. So, somehow or other, you can't buy a ticket to Vṛndāvana. And you can't see something personal unless that which is personal wants you to see them. We are our love. And that love, which is our very person, as a father, a mother, a daughter, a son, a friend, that very love is our real essence, which is just beyond the form. And it must be given. So in the same sense, what is Vṛndāvana? It must be given. Vishyacharya kabe shude habe man kabe hame heram. When my mind is peaceful and I'm free from the desire for sense gratification, then I can see Vṛndāvana. If you think you're the center, you will never see who is the center. And you will completely miss it. I know things about Vṛndāvana. When I was there, in the late 70s, there was an oil refinery run by the Russians. And there were these Russian people there, and they looked like old school Russians, not modern Russians. And they once visited the Krishna Mandir. They had no idea where they were. They had no idea. But my service is to help people experience the holy Dham. And especially when I lived in Vṛndāvana, group after group would come to my room, and I would tell them that when you leave this place, you will say that it's the most beautiful place in the world. And they come, and there may be traffic and plastic bags and whatever it is. Of course, I also take them to the real Vṛndāvana, the forest of Vṛndāvana, etc. But it's more than that. Perception is not just based on the senses. Perception is based on our knowledge. Perception is based on our attitude. And perception is based on our attention. And perception is based, when it's in relationship with a person, on their desire to reveal themselves to us. So You can write this thing down and then send me a note. Perception is based on four things. Our senses, but not five things. Our senses, but not just our senses. Our attitude. If you're envious, you can't see someone as greater than yourself. Our knowledge, our understanding. I always give the example, if you take a pair of kartals up to the North Pole, the Eskimos will think you're crazy for making earmuffs out of metal. You don't know what it is. And your attentiveness, your perception is based on your attention. And it's based on, when it's dealing with something personal, the revelation, that the will of that person to reveal themselves to you. So it's the same thing with the Dham. And somehow or other, because he was confused, even though he had some attraction, he didn't come in the right mood. He didn't come in the right dress. There's such a thing. But, and then there's this purport that the Lord is there. Punyam madhuvanam yatra, fourth canto. Sanidhyam nityadahare. The forest, Mathurā, is most auspicious because there the personality of God Hare is always present. Mathurā Bhagavan Yatra, 10th canto. Nityam Saniyato Hari. In Mathurā, Lord Hari is always present. And another verse, how pious are the tracts of land in Braja, for there the primeval personality of Godhead, disguising himself with human traits, wanders about enacting his many pastimes. Adorned with wonderfully variegated forest garlands, he whose feet are worshipped by Lord Shiva and the goddess Rama vibrates his flute as he tends the cows in the company of Balaram. I'm actually, what I'm reading with Niranjan Swami now is a book by Shivram Swami called Krishna-katha. And it describes this to reconcile that there's so many references from Rupa, Jiva, etc., that Krishna actually comes back to Vṛndāvana even when he's in Dwarka every 3 months. But why it's not mentioned in the Bhagavatam. And the introduction is 70 pages, and it's so fascinating. Every paragraph is very well written. So Krishna's always there, but he's not always manifest there. And this last verse I read is spoken by the queens of Dwarka. And even though Krishna's in Dwarka, there's still, it's in present tense, because Krishna is eternally in Vṛndāvana. Okay, the last purport actually explains it very nicely. Gopa-kumāra, however, had not yet developed the spiritual eyes to see Krishna's presence in Vraja, so he's thinking about going back to Jagannath Puri, where the Lord is always visible to everyone. Because he had not yet gained Sri Krishna's special favor, he lacked the taste of Vrajabhav and wanted to go elsewhere. Even after he visited various places of Krishna's pastimes and felt something special, his realizations were somehow covered, and he felt dissatisfied at not seeing his Lord. But eventually he will achieve perfection of all his desires in Vṛndāvana, where he will remain permanently with perfect faith and satisfaction. And why couldn't he feel? He didn't have the proper faith. And faith is also based, the three categories of devotees, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttama. Kanishta means little knowledge and little faith. Madhya means faith, but not yet mature knowledge. And uttama means, there's a qualification for Vaidhi Bhakti, actually. And the full faith and full knowledge. Didn't have that full conviction yet. And without that full conviction, it's hard to get full absorption. Without full absorption, it's hard to get full revelation. So he didn't get full revelation there. And because he was simple, he remembered God was visibly present in the form of the deity, and he started to miss that. Poor guy. Artas tatra jagannatam drashtum odram punabrajam pati ganga tate pasyum tamarchara param dvijam. In great anxiety, I set off once more for Orissa to see Lord Jagannath. And on the path of the shore of the Ganga, I met some Brahmins who were fixed in their religious duties. The mental plane. He was anxious to see Lord Jagannath and also unhappy about leaving Braja. He didn't have the knowledge yet to reconcile them. When Lord Chaitanya was in Puri, he would see Jagannath as Krishna. And when he would go to the Jagannath Vallabha Gardens, I'm reading this with some other group of people. I don't know, I'm really enlivened because, I don't know, I have 3 times as many classes now. 5 times as many classes. And that absorption in Shastra. So I'm reading that Lord Chaitanya is in the forest of he's in Jagannath Vallabha Gardens, and he sees Vṛndāvana. And because there's 3 states of consciousness, there's complete absorption, half absorption and half conscious to the world, and full consciousness of the world. Because he's always in full absorption, practically speaking. And it says his material activities only go on like a potter wheel. You turn the potter wheel and it goes on, it starts spinning, it goes on automatically. So the other activity is going to automatically. So he's always in this very intense absorption, emotional state. And he sees the gardens and he just remembers Vṛndāvana. And then he enters into that. And then he sees, and then finally, anyway, when he sees Krishna, he has this vision of beauty on unlimited steroids. How beautiful is God? What is that to look at that vision and sight? And the thing about looking at that vision and sight, it's not just a sensual experience, but it's an emotional experience. I give the example, if a grandmother sees her grandchild and the mother dresses up the grandchild very cute, then she'll appreciate that, but it's an increase of her love. That experience is not just it's an increase of her love. And then if the child, gets up and walks and does something silly or something, it just increases the love. So Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Sri Radha. And when he in that mood thinks he sees the form of Krishna, he's drawn to that form. But then he smells the fragrance of Krishna, and he's drawn to that sense. Then he hears Krishna's voice and his flute. So he's describing that this love is so powerful. He says, my mind is like a horse. And the reins of those horses represent the five senses. And Krishna's beauty represents the five objects of senses. I want to hear Krishna in this direction. I want to see Krishna in this direction. I want to hug Krishna in this direction. It's that my mind is going to explode. My mind is going to explode. So here, in the same way, with two different conceptions of Krishna, actually the same conception of Krishna, but not reconciled. A lot of times there's things that are different, but at a higher level of understanding, there's reconciliation. Conflict is ignorance. A lot of times at a higher level of understanding, there's not even conflict. It's Jagannath. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Baba Tume. And Jagannath is Krishna, and Krishna is Jagannath. But that environment, this is a real tension, actually. This is a two sets of Sanatana Goswami trying to explain the supremacy of Krishna from the terms of the people who love Krishna. He's trying to explain the supremacy of the devotees, by the terms of the people who love Krishna, and by terms of the environment they want to be in, and the environment that Krishna creates for them to reciprocate that love. And so he's anxious to see, and so he meets some Brahmins. Vichitra shasta vigyebhyas tebhyas chasrausham abhutam swargo namordva te shesti devalokan tarikshita. From those Brahmanas who are learned in various kinds of scriptures, I heard something amazing, that above the upper atmosphere in the world, there is a world of demigods called Swarga. So again, these purports, having never received a proper education, Gopa-kumāra did not even know that there are upper regions of the universe populated by superhuman civilizations. Almost everyone born in India hears about heaven and other wonders of the universe, because even the popular culture is based on the authority of the Vedic scriptures. But Gopa-kumāra, in his simple life as a cowherd at Govardhana, had heard nothing about these things. Now he met some Brahmins on the road who were not only well-versed in the Shruti, Smriti, epics, Puranas, and philosophical texts, but were glad to share what they know. Texts 5 through 11 describe what those Brahmins told him. Isn't it so interesting how Sanatana Goswami, in this journey to present us the gift of what Lord Chaitanya gave, which is the love of the residents of Vṛndāvana for Krishna, that in this beautiful text, he lets us just enter for 3 or 4 verses. And now we're going to Swarga, but with that understanding that it will glorify Vṛndāvana, because no one who has that taste for Vraja Bhakti, and that's the lineage and what's planted in his heart, they can never be happy for anything ultimately. Tasyeva heto priyateti kovido tadabhyate brahmanuparyata. Vimana valibi simin nirbhaya dukkhavarjita charamarana rogadi doshavarga bahishkrita. This world is splendid with formations of celestial airplanes. It is a fearless place, devoid of misery, and impervious to the faults like disease, old age, and death. Purport: the demigods who reside in Swargaloka travel at will on airplanes propelled by the wind, and they fear neither disease nor old age nor death, which always threatens and overcomes the residency low. So this is so attractive, and because he doesn't have that understanding, this also looks spiritual to him. So many people, we want to go to heaven. If you ever get those Jehovah Witnesses Awake magazines, they want to go to heaven. They think it's spiritual. They think, but Bhagavatam says what? Dharma kaitavo tra paramo namatsaranam satam. We're not interested. But it's attractive. Just look at America. They have one thing that Christian theologians generally criticize, which is the prosperity gospel. You come to the church, you worship Jesus, and you'll become prosperous, and this is what he wants. As opposed to Queen Kunti, Vipata Shantu Shashasvat, Tatra Tatra Jagat. Let these calamities happen again and again. I want you, not all these material things. My father, like many in his lineage, I guess, he had he was a dress contractor in Harlem. He had about 30 ladies working for him, and he was a dress contractor. And some people came to collect for a donation. I can never forget their name. Reverend Sam the Money Man. Reverend Sam the Money Man. Maha Sukha Mayo Labja Punya Atro Tamai Kriti Yasya Sakro Dipo Jayam Brata Shri Jagat Ishatu. That swaga pervaded by the greatest happiness. Maha Sukha, one can attain by the highest acts of piety in this world. Its ruler is Shakra, Indra, the elder brother, the Lord of the universe. Purport, Swagaloka is glorious because the life enjoyed there is of superior quality, because only by exceptional effort could one achieve it, and because its ruler is the great Indra, Lord Vishnu in his form of Vamanadeva, is the younger brother of King Indra. Mahasukha, and it's attained by piety. So attractive. One more verse for today. Yajapyasti bilasvargo Vishnu Sheshadi alankritita Bauma swargascha tadvipa Varshadishu pade pade Vichitta rupa Shri Krishna Pujotsava virajita Tatapi urdvataro loko divya tabyam vishishyate. Of course, there are subterranean heavens adorned with the presence of incarnations like Lord Vishnu and Anantasesha, and there are heavens on earth in various dvipas. And other regions, heavens splendid with the festive worship of Sri Krishna in his various forms. Nonetheless, the heavenly world in the higher realms is still superior. The udvatara, the upward, the most upward of the local world, divya, that vishishyate, this is superior. Gopa-kumāra, rubies, diamonds, rings, and pearls, just to attract fools. Spirit. But anyway, it's even higher. And so this is the and it's described here, the purport in the Bhagavatam. There's Bilva, Swarga, it's below the earthly planets, and there's heavens in the earthly and subterranean heavens, and Vishnu is present on Sutaloka with Bali Maharaj, and is the doorkeeper, and on Pataloka, Sesha. So there's different things. And Sri Kapila, who broke Ravana's pride, resides in Atalaloka, and that Shiva as Rudra resides in Vitalaloka. According to the Bhagavatam, the earthly planetary system, Bhula Mandala, consists of various dweepas or islands, and their subdivisions, tracts of lands known as Varshas. On these dweepas and Varshas, the Lord is worshipped in various incarnations. For example, on Plakshra Dweep, the Supreme Lord is worshipped as Suryadev on Ilavrita Varsha as Sri Shankarshan, and Bhadra Varsha as Sri Hayagriva. The Lord is also worshipped in the Milk Ocean in special places. Yet despite this varied worship of the Lord in earthly and subterranean heavens, the Swagaloka in the upper part of the universe holds a special position as uvāca, superior to the other heavens and physically higher. And it is Divya, the home of the very powerful Devas. Gopa-kumāra need not think about going to any other heavenly planet. So we'll kind of finish for today. And Shamuna Jai, what do you have for us?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for class. I jotted down what you said. It was so good that perception, and this is your list of, is based on your senses, the attitude, knowledge, attentiveness, and then the beautiful last one, that the ability of the thing to reveal itself to you. So that was really, really just a wonderful takeaway. It was wonderful.
Haribo. Hey, Brahma. I'll see you soon. Nice to see you in class.
I'll see you Saturday.
Great. I think it's a perfect schedule for you.
It's working out well. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll have a break at 4:30, and then 5 o'clock, Raghunath's going to interview you on your association with Prabhupada and the BI. So
okay, perfect. Sorry, I'm outside. It's noisy, but I'll be there. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the arrangements.
Great. Any comments on class today? Any points you?
Well, I'd love, as a administrator, I don't get to focus on scripture as much as would be good for me. And so to hear the focus on scripture and that you're even reading with Dhanurdhara Swami, and I love Śrī Swami's books. It kind of brings me back to the real taste, because the pounds and pence seem to occupy too much of my brain. So this is good for me. Thank you.
Especially when you don't have them.
Exactly the problem.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
And Surya and her husband, that you know well, on your advice, they're coming up. David's coming up. It's going to be great.
I look forward. Thanks, Maharaj.
Okay, Haribo. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Gail, Haribo.
Any time for a question?
Wow, the streak is broken. Go ahead, Gail. I left too much time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reconcile something you said with something I've heard elsewhere about the fact that Krishna never leaves Vṛndāvana, right? So what I've heard, somebody was referencing Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, actually, where it's mentioned the 3 types of Krishna's appearances. Anyway, the point is that the argument is made that if Krishna never leaves, right, then how is it that the gopis, they go to Kurukshetra out of separation from him, like that. I mean, I know you talk about Krishna's bhava manifestation, but
Well, the question is obviously Krishna never leaves Vṛndāvana. And when we say Krishna, we're not talking about a different person. We're talking about a particular revelation of the same person. And when God wants intimate love and he manifests himself fully, that's the environment. And in the Krura Lila, when he goes to the border and he takes bath, then it's Vasudeva Krishna that goes. It's a different manifestation of Krishna. So the question I have to say is, and I'll speak to Dhanurdhara Swami about it today, is about the gopis, because we know at Kurukshetra, in other words, what was Radharani's position there? We know that Krishna wasn't fully Krishna. It was Krishna and not Krishna because it wasn't her lover. And her lover only manifests in an intimate setting, and that's kind of proper. So the lover will never be manifest or shouldn't be manifest unless in an intimate setting. Just like in Indian houses, the center of the house was a husband and wife, and none of the other family could go into that center of the house or the place where the husband and wife were, because the children and the others, it's not appropriate for their relationship to see that aspect of their parents. So there's a place for the revelation, and that place is Vṛndāvana. So the question at Kurukshetra really is about the gopis. And I'll have to think about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we might have to take this offline, because even this
Gail,
this
that was
question,
almost like saying, meet me outside. Okay, go ahead. Monday.
because
Yeah.
even this issue of, it was Vasudeva Krishna that went, even that, the way I understood was that was refuted in the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta by, Rupa Goswami.
Let me speak to Dhanurdhara Swami. He's really studied these things. And you can call me on Monday. Okay?
Okay.
Yabit Sundari, Haribao.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Thank you
Haribao.
very much for the class.
So now you have to stay in Vancouver, huh?
Yeah, I have to, Maharaj. Yeah, you see what happened in my country. Oh my goodness.
I
They're
know.
it's really horrible situation, Maharaj.
Right. Well, let's see what happens in a week or two, what the
Yeah,
situation is. We really can't tell now what it's going to be. So
yeah,
we have to be in the present.
yeah,
Anxiety is in the past, what we lament for in the future. But now
yeah.
there's no problem.
I just checked my family and friends in Iran.
Of course. And they're in
Yeah,
Tehran too, right? Many are in Tehran.
pardon?
Many are in Tehran.
Yeah, I have many people in Tehran,
Of
obviously,
course.
but Kish is safe at this moment. I'm in touch with
Okay.
people in Kish. Yeah,
Okay.
it's safe, but
Yeah.
Tehran is horrible. But yeah, I'm here and I'm staying to see what
And
Krishna
your daughter is safe.
Yeah, and she's coming to see you. That's very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
will
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
we'll FaceTime you from the retreat.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's
Okay,
very kind
Haribo.
of you. Haribo.
So Erotica, Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey, we'll see you guys soon. We're looking
Yes,
forward
Yes,
to it.
we're traveling right now.
Oh, really?
We're driving there, yeah.
Yeah, all the way.
You're going to drive there?
Yes.
Are you going to stop on the way to some places?
Yes, Maharaj.
Where are you stopping?
We're stopping in
North Carolina, Nigoloka Temple, and then the DC Temple.
You'll spend a day different places at different temples,
Yes, Maharaj.
yes, Maharaj.
and you know different people, right? Okay. All right, nice. Okay, we'll see you. That'll be fun. That'll be great. Okay, Haribo.
Yes, Maharaj.
I guess-
Very well. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Lal Govinda.
And Braja, thank you for class.
Thank you for class.
Lal, we'll see you soon.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Okay, but Bṛhad gave strict orders: no carrying mattresses.
I mean, if he really needs to, I guess. But
No, we'll give him a lot of kirtan seva.
yeah. Oh, good.
But the whole Lal Govinda band won't be there. You'll have to.
How about the most important part, Will?
Yeah, as long as the lead singer is there, the lead person. Okay. Haribo. Anybody else say hello? Okay. I am going to head out now. Vancha Kalpatu.